Anyways, we're watching Dexter, Red Lantern, House Cat Origins by comicstorian R.I.P. Benny, who was the person behind comicstorian. He died in a tragic accident like a couple weeks ago. But at least his wife, I believe his wife, and his friends and stuff like that are keeping the channel running. I'm doing this video so she can see a adorable kitten, and two, learn about the Marvel and DC universes over time. So we're gonna start off with DC. We're gonna like the video, and yeah, we're gonna like the video. Because even if she wanted to subscribe, she can't. Because YouTube being stupid. But what you expect? It's YouTube.
Yeah, because YouTube has the stupid rule that you can't subscribe to more channels than what you have subscribers.
But anyway, we're gonna watch this. I'm subscribed to my account. There we
Welcome
go.
to our new weekly series, which focuses on going more in-depth into the origins of heroes and villains. This week, we're going to heavily focus on explaining the origins of all of these well-known lanterns of all the different corps, so that we can prepare for some good old...
Okay, I will explain them. White is life. There's two violent emotions. The first one is white. Red, I think you guess what that is. It's emotion.
I want to know what the other one is.
What?
Black.
Well, can you guess what red is?
Anger.
Rage. Orange is greed. Yellow is fear. Green is willpower. Blue is hope, which most of the time cannot work unless if a green lantern is around a blue lantern. Purple / indigo is compassion, which anyone can join, even the fucking Joker, if he wanted to, if they gave him a ring. Because compassion takes anyone who has compassion for something. Pink / violet is love, and black is death. It basically, the ring resurrects everyone who died in the DC universe. We don't talk about that comic.
We need the black ring in real life.
They make replicas of these rings that you can buy. They don't have an actual working one, but...
That's my point. I needed to do what...
Oh, no. You don't bring them back as full conscience? No. They're basically a zombie who is a slave to their ring. Their fate is worse than death if they get one on them.
Okay, maybe I don't want to bring him back that way.
Fashion Lantern Stories. If you learned something new, let us know by giving the video a like, and follow us on Twitter at comicstorian. Also, let us know in the comments down below what other comic book villains and heroes that you feel you're unsure of the origins of, so we can wrap them up into this new series, Origins. Time to discuss everyone's favorite house cat, Dexter. Now I'm gonna warn you though, if you're not a fan of animal abuse, then this story probably isn't for you.
I don't think that's that much.
Dexter, or Dexter as he was originally named, was a poor kitten in an animal shelter. Left alone until a kindly woman arrived and saw a box full of abused kittens.
I didn't know his origin
One thing
had
allowed
abuse
him
in
to
it.
stand out from the rest of them. One thing made him a special kitten. One thing made him a good kitten. Dexter had a beautiful blue coat of fur.
How you know?
The woman took him home and she treated him like her greatest friend ever. She gave him treats, balls of yarn to play with, and the love that he finally desired. Dexter was a good kitty. She gave him a home, so he gave her love. This wouldn't be the story of a red lantern without a little heartache. One night, someone broke into their home in Brooklyn. We don't know who it was. We don't know what he wanted. Dexter even tried his hardest to save the woman who saved him. But he was just a young kid. She died that night.
So
Dexter was kicked out of his home and sent to the streets by the police. They didn't know what he'd been through. They just saw him as a contaminant to the crime scene. Our poor kitten walked the streets alone, cold and looking for shelter, until some bratty problem children found him. They thought it would be funny to throw a cat off the Brooklyn Bridge, to leave him in a bag so that he could drown. Why can't everyone just leave Dexter alone? Why can't they let Dexter just be a good kitty?
You told me about him.
But this, as fate would have it, was where he became a Red Lantern. Dexter of Earth, you have great rage in your heart. And a red ring that was scouring the universe for new recruits attached itself to Dexter's tail, allowing him to become the Red Lantern known as Dexter. He took off into the sky with his new powers, but unlike most Red Lanterns who first turned into a Red Lantern, he didn't kill anyone, and he didn't go on a Red Lantern rampage. He didn't do any of that. He went back to his old home, and he got as close as he could, and he curled up. And he just remembered the woman who gave him a home, who gave him love. And he just said to himself as the tears welled up in his eyes, I find one who hurt you. I kill. I good kitty. Thank you for joining me today for our origin story. And like I said at the beginning, if you learned something new, please give the video a like and follow us on Twitter. I know that this story was really short, but his origin story took place across 3 pages. It's really sad if you ask me.
Hang on. Does that mean he could be a fucking Pink Lantern? At some point? What the fuck? Anyways, there's also another one that explains the Red Lanterns. To help you know more about them. Also, to get your mind off of the kittens, they gotta be used by kids and the cops.
The mean kid and the cop.
Where would you go if you felt betrayed by everyone?
Okay, because he wanted the cops, but because you know, he probably didn't have a collar on.
Welcome to the Complete Story Series. We take trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites so that we can read it dramatically back to you.
They're not, I suppose no question why the fuck he's blue.
And all art is owned by its respective companies. Don't forget to support this great industry by buying these books online or at your local store. Within the Lantern mythos,
anyways, this is Red Lantern Blood Brothers. Complete story.
Not just the Green Lanterns. Each is centered around an emotion. The Red Lanterns are centered around rage. And it's that rage that Atrocitus intends to use to rebuild the Red Lantern army after the wrath of the First Lantern. But the first thing he needs to do is crush the Green Lantern's method of intel. And then he sends out 10 new rings to 10 new potential Red Lanterns. Over at Oa, the headquarters of the Greens, Hal finds Guy working on his motorcycle in his downtime, and Hal asks him, "Can you go to the Reds for me? You're the only member of the Green Lanterns that has ever been a Red before it returned." If Guy goes, he'll be their man on the ground, reporting back to Oa with what's happening. Once he's had enough, Hal will get him pulled out using Saint Walker and the Blue Lanterns to purge the Red Ring off of him. But Guy asks Hal, "What if I don't want out?" Back at the Red Lanterns on their homeworld of Yasmalt, Atrocitus decides to enact his new plan, and he turns to Rancor, the only human Red Lantern. "We shall dine on your blood, and you shall give us your ability to create constructs." Rancor isn't about to sacrifice himself, though, and the Red Lanterns have their first bloody battle amongst themselves until Atrocitus calls it off. With Rancor and bloody, Atrocitus tells the Corps, "If Rancor isn't willing to sacrifice himself, then so be it, though his selfishness disgusts me." At that moment, Guy arrives for his duty, hovering over the Red Lanterns like the green beacon of willpower that he is. "Atrocitus, I've come to join the Reds. The Green Lanterns have nothing for me." "Ha! Fine, here's a map of Oa and all the information on the Green's defenses and their roster counts. Interesting. Do you think I am foolish, Guy Gardner? You arrive just as I finally get rid of the last of the infection the Green Lanterns have placed in my congregation. And then he bombards Guy Gardner with the blood magic of the Red Lanterns. But Guy Gardner, he's had enough, and he jumps at Atrocitus, hitting him hard. He's tired of not being good enough. He's tired of being expendable. He's tired of being the last string.
Oh, Mom, I need also, that Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, is the one that Batman knocked out with one punch. He's also a jackass.
Could that help you, brother, in a chance? That's what your dad's thinking about giving him. He's thinking about letting him have Frodo's community tank, since Frodo's supposed to be his snake anyways. In his bedroom, because his buddy, I should be able to make it to where Henry can handle.
And now we're going back to the video. Ooh, blood.
Get that only picked him as a backup Green Lantern. Not good enough for prime time. Not good enough. As a cop, he washed out. He never made it. Not good enough. And Hal sent Guy here because he was expendable, disposable, Not good enough. Using this rage, Guy Gardner hits Atrocitus over and over, blood spraying all around them. And then he stands up and takes off his green ring. And he pulls Atrocitus' red ring right off of his finger. Atrocitus reverts to his former self without a heart as the red ring replaces his user's heart. Dexter, the Space Kitty, quickly grabs Atrocitus and he flees the area. But Guy Gardner, he's now filled with rage. He falls to his knees with blood pouring out of his eyes and his mouth, growling in horror.
If you're a Red Lantern, the ring makes you feel rage 24/7. If you take it off, most continuity, you die.
In the situation that he is in, Belize mentions that perhaps they should leave him like this. I mean, he just destroyed Atrocitus. Then the Red Lanterns begin to argue about it, and while they're distracted, Rancor lifts Guy Gardner up using a construct, and he drops him into the Blood Lake. Everyone stops what they're doing, and they turn to the Blood Lake. Guy comes out screaming and gasping for air, while Belize is fighting it out with Skalex over leadership. But as they finally resolve their fight, Guy turns to them. Why does anyone need to be in control? There are 6 of us. That's more than enough for a democracy to work. Everyone throws in their idea, and you all vote on the best one. It's not difficult. Now, who's tired of this planet and sleeping on the ground? The Red Lanterns all look at each other, and then they look at Guy, raising their hands. Good. Then I have an idea. He takes them into space when they track down the cruiser ship, the Calvar. This ship is run by a monster named Barge.
I don't know the Red
He's a space
Lanterns that
pirate,
much.
and the Greens have always wanted to take him down, but he avoided them.
Barely know.
The word pirates,
I just know of the
pirates.
human
So whoever we
dude.
find, we can kill.
The Red Lanterns,
Easy
not
bleezy.
the other one.
Thus, the Red
And
Lanterns
Blaze,
begin mass murdering
and-
everyone on the ship. Napalm blood and red beams of fury burn holes in the crew and the ship. While he's tearing them apart, Guy manages to stumble across what they're smuggling. The corpses of a race of crystal people. Their bodies are worth money, so Barge has cut off their arms and legs and is transporting their bodies, just the core of their bodies. Guy storms onto the bridge of the ship, blood streaming from his mouth and his face, his eyes glowing red with rage, and he blasts Barge out of the ship and into space. He then takes a seat in the captain's chair with the vacuum of space sucking out all of the air off the bridge until Rancor walks in and makes a wall construct. Guy looks up at him. Is it me? Or did that feel great? Meanwhile, off in space, we find out how Atrocitus isn't dead. Dexter managed to lick up some of Rancor's blood and has gained the ability to make constructs, and he made Atrocitus a new heart. Atrocitus fully intends to come back for his revenge, but first, he'll need to find one of those 10 rings that he sent off into space. Guy and the Red Lanterns take their new home to Yasmalt, where Guy parks it and he starts to learn the Red Lanterns aren't all bad. They have hobbies and interests outside of massive rage. Atrocitus has always just kept them on short leashes. So Guy takes off for space and he uses the last of his green ring's power to call Hal. Hal, I want out. The Reds aren't a threat because I killed Atrocitus with my bare hands, and I killed a space pirate named Barge. Hal tells him that he'll send St. Walker to purge Guy. Just hold on. But later on, Hal calls Guy back to tell him the Blue Lanterns are gone. Their lantern has been destroyed. A being named Relic is going around sucking all of the light out of all of the cores, and he's already destroyed Oa. For this period of the storyline, the Red Lanterns went off to help the rest of the cores defeat Relic in the event Lights Out. We'll link the video now because we did a whole video on the event Lights Out, and we're going to go to what happens afterwards. In return for helping the other cores defeat Relic, Guy brokered a deal with Hal. The Red Lanterns are now the new police force for Sector 2814, the sector that Earth is in. So after everything is over and the Reds head back to their ship, now floating in their new sector, they start dumping various drinks down Zilla Zog's throat, while Guy is trying to devise a way for the sector to be aware that there's a new sheriff in town, a new boss, and the Greens are gone. While he's debating this, our quiet Red Lantern Ratchet is trying to keep his ring on his finger. It's not time, he says, as the ring tries to leave. He then walks out and turns to the group. I have an idea. One that will definitely let people know who we are. There is a villain known as Field Marshal Gensai, and he's a leader of a planet called Korax, on the outer edge of his sector. He subjugated his populace, and he turned everyone into his follower or his slave. Once he's done with his planet, he moved off into space to use his slaves to build a Dyson Sphere, a device that steals all of the energy from the sun itself. He's trying to rob the Earth's sun. So the Red Lanterns decide this'll make their name. They come up with a plan to have Rancor use his constructs to take the appearance of Barge, Gensai's friend, and they sneak everyone on board his ship. Once they're all on board and in their disguises, Gensai treats them to one hell of a party. while Zilla Zox stays on the ship trying to get it working properly again. Everything seems to be going fine until Gensai leads them to a room where Barge is already standing. It turns out, Guy didn't kill him as good as he thought he did. Immediately, they have the entire army of Gensai on them, trying to kill them, with laser fire coming from all sides. Rancor pops up a construct shield as quickly as he can, and they appear to be winning, until they get blasted with a weird blue light that basically drugs them. Skylex tells everyone not to breathe. This mist must be a chemical attack. Or, go ahead and breathe. It's probably fine. The whole crew lands on the ground softly, and Ratchet goes, "No, I won't let you hurt my..." But Guy cuts him off. "Calm down, Ratchet. You're always so intense. Just chill out. Ride the wave." All 5 of them get put into cuffs and carried off with the blue beams keeping them calm. Standing in front of a firing squad, Ratchet tries his best to apologize. He just wanted one last run. Meanwhile, up in space, Zilla Zox is dealing with his own problems as the Dyson Sphere is launching a full-scale blast at him in the ship, with everyone looking up in the sky saying, "Pretty." Ratchet uses everything within his power to break out of the bonds holding him and take all of the bullets into his tentacles as Gensai calls out fire. Ratchet then falls to the ground, and he tells his friend to look up as Zilla Zox has dodged the blast coming at the ship by overpowering the ship with Red Lantern energy, and he's coming straight at everyone, blasting them to free them from the blue light. Finally, coming to their senses, the entire group jumps in and straight out kills everyone in Gensai's army, including himself, when Blee shoves her bone wings through him, murdering him. Once everyone is killed, Ratchet explains that he is a Red because in his society, his people are supposed to be separate and never work together. But he thought this was wrong, and that they could work together. So in return for his thoughts, they mutilated him, and they locked him away until the ring eventually found him. Being with the Red Lanterns has given him purpose and friends, and he hasn't felt this rage in a long time. The ring was already trying to leave him, and once it did, he would die. But he wanted to do one last good thing: stop the Field Marshal and save his friends. With Ratchet's sacrifice, the Reds now established themselves in Sector 2814. They are now the police of the sector. But across the galaxy, Atrocitus has found a new Red Ring, and he's getting ready to take his revenge on Guy Gardner and the Red Lantern Civil War. The Red Lantern story arc is one of my favorites that came out of the last Green Lantern reboot.
I have
and
a
I'm really
story
sad that the comic ended, but I do intend to give you the full Red Lantern storylines, just like we're eventually going to go into the White Lantern storylines and finish it with the Green Lanterns. Let me know what you guys think of the Red Lanterns in the comments down below, and if you want to see more Red Lantern content, please give this video a like. I'm Benny for comicstorian, and check out these other videos on the screen. You just might like them.
We're done anyways.
I want to do one more video.
Turning down my phone, I'm trying to. I had it up because Garrett's quiet.
Kelly needs new floors, so she went to the flooring
This is the complete story of War of the Green Lantern.